Hey, thanks for coming back to the channel. As you know, or for those of you that have been following me for a while, this channel focuses on practical self-defense, practical defense, practical prepping from a civilian perspective. So the rules of engagement, for example, in the use of force, are what are the rules of engagement for civilians? So if you are a door kicker, you're a law enforcement person, uh, this is not going to be structured for you. You have a different set of rules of engagement and a different set of training. Uh, the subject of this video is the difference between, or is there a difference between, for self-defense for civilians, the use of a deadly weapon versus the use of deadly force. So think about that for a minute. Use of a deadly weapon or use of deadly force. So the laws for self-defense talk about the use of deadly force, regardless of how that force is administered to the threat. Think about that. It could be your body, your hands, feet, anything that you could, if you could take a magazine, for example, and roll it up into a tight, now you have, you can do serious bodily injury or death to another person using that correctly, right? Using your hands, you could put someone in a chokehold, which is the use of deadly force. But what are the rules of engagement? To stop the threat when there is imminent threat of serious bodily injury or death to you or another. So that is deadly force being used to stop a threat. And you apply the force until the threat is stopped. Now let's come to a chokehold, for example. You're a civilian. All you want to do is stop the threat, right? Now, you're applying deadly force. So if death happens, sucks to be the bad guy. You understand what I'm saying? It sucks to be the bad guy. Because it doesn't say use of deadly force except that it's got to look pretty to a jury. Or you have to follow some law enforcement rules of engagement. There are no law enforcement rules of engagement for civilians. Civilians are not required to de-escalate anything. You're not supposed to start something, right? But you're not supposed to, there is no legal obligation for you to de-escalate your use of deadly force. You're either going to use deadly force or you're not going to use deadly force. Your job as a civilian is not to get physical control of the threat. I mean, your job is to stop the threat. Cop's job is to use various leverages and escalation, de-escalation procedures for their use of force. That's not the same for a civilian. Now, the rules are tight for a civilian because it says, in the event of imminent serious bodily injury or death to you or another. That's it. And deadly force is required. It doesn't say anything about use of a deadly weapon. Deadly weapons are not defined, right, in this sense. And I say all that because, and I'm going to do one video on my favorite new tool that I just got, and it's the Expandable Baton. This is an expandable baton from the company ASP, Alpha Sierra Poppy. They sometimes you refer to it as ASP, but this is from ASP, and they pretty much own the market for creating different versions of an impact baton. This one is called the Agent Talon series. Agent because it's more compact. has a clip for your belt or concealed inside your pocket. So you can conceal these. Before I go any further, you need to check with your state, wherever you are, to see whether or not you can own and or carry one of these. In the case of where you can own it, that means you can own it and keep it in your house and use it, but you can't carry it outside. I live in the free state of Idaho, and I can carry this anywhere I want to, right? Just like my guns. But the point is that you do need to know about what's legal in your state. And the other thing is you're a civilian. This is an impact weapon. It is a weapon. It's not a tool. It is an impact weapon. What does impact weapon means? It means you're going to whomp on somebody. Why? To stop the threat. Now, one of the good things about a baton, an expandable baton, is that it gives you reach. And the reach is longer than someone's punch, if you understand what I'm saying. And it's just right enough to stop a kick if someone is trying to kick you. But remember, this is because you're trying to stop a threat that has been defined as imminent, serious bodily injury or death to you. So you would not use an expandable baton. Let me show you, if you've seen it, this is how easy it retracts. This is the new model, the Talon model. You don't have to bang this on the ground to collapse it. I just have to do that. So the impact baton in the hands of a civilian is a formidable tool, formidable weapon. And it is, so some people would say this is not a deadly weapon. Well, there's no such thing as a deadly weapon. All weapons can be deadly. All weapons can be deployed to deliver serious bodily injury or death to a bad guy or deadly force, right? So yes, this can be and is designed to deliver deadly force in the hands of whoever's got it. It is not, in the hands of a civilian, a compliance tool. You're not there to make a hole so you can then grapple with the bad guy or get him in some kind of compliance lock. That's a cop's job. Your job is to use this impact tool to stop them. What would the circumstances be? Well, typically we picture the bad guy has a knife or some weapon in their hand. Then you can do one of two things. What I would do is I would expand this because it makes a really fun noise when you do that, so that it signals to the other person, I'm leaving, but I will hurt you if you try to follow me, kind of message. The exception is if they have a gun, right? Because they can reach out farther than this can, and they can deliver that to you. So you're kind of stuck there. If they have a gun, and this is all you have. If they have a bladed weapon, and it's not attached to like a battle axe or something that's longer than this, you have a fighting chance to use an impact weapon with deadly force to stop them. You can whack them on them. This hurts if you hit them on the hand or their weapon hand, but then you can finish it by going to the head, right? And that'll put them down. Hitting them on the hand will just make them feel bad. Hitting them in the head, always. If you want to stop the threat, the fastest way to stop the threat, if you can target it, is the noggin. Now, interestingly enough, in the literature that comes packed with this, there's a graphic, and it shows, cops hitting the soft muscle groups and bones and all that, and then they have an icon of a human head with a big "Don't hit the head," the red slash to it. Don't hit the head. I'm saying you must That is how you're going to stop the threat as a civilian. All you're going to do is make them. They might keep coming. So you have where's from the neck up. From the neck up, if you're using impact tactics, whether the impact is from your fist, your feet, a stick, an expandable baton, anything, an impact defense is up to here, right? Somebody said, well, hit him in the solar plexus. I don't have time for that. You want to put them down if you can get close enough. With one of these, you can get close enough and not subject yourself to that. The one thing you need to know is that don't hand this out there. You know, you've seen people put it out there and start swinging wide. Because that's just saying, please take this thing away from me. That's like people that get up there and they have their gun and they stick their gun way out in somebody's face and going, where they learn that? On movies. Use of deadly force is regardless of the tool or the weapon used. On my concealed carry license, it says license for concealed weapons. It doesn't say concealed pistol, it doesn't say concealed gun, it doesn't say concealed knife, it says concealed weapons permit. This is a weapon. I can conceal it, I can carry it, and I'm gonna whack somebody in the off switch if I can. Cops are trained not to do that. They're trained to use these kind of tools to get compliance. We're civilians. We don't have to get anybody to comply with anything other than to stop being a threat to me. So, it is not the use of a deadly weapon. It's the use of deadly force with whatever weapon you have in your hands. Whether it's a gun, a blade, and I'll talk to blades in another video. But this is specifically for those who are legally able to buy and carry these. Again, ASP is the dominant one that makes these. This is Cerakoted in titanium. I had to, it'd be a little different. I didn't like black. This is expensive. It's not a $25 deal, but it deploys quickly and it retracts quickly just by pushing this top here and like that. You don't have to bang it on the ground like old school. And it has a pocket clip, so you can carry it inside the waistband. You can carry it inside a pocket, depending on what kind of clothes you're wearing. It deploys nicely, by the way. So, deadly force, deadly weapon, is deadly force using a weapon. And this one is the expandable baton. So for those of you that have used the expandable baton as a law enforcement probably, or whatever, I'd appreciate your thinking on what I just put out there. So if you like the content, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. And as always, whenever you can, wherever you can, however you can, carry on.